Now, I did spend some time thinking about the best way to approach this, and I decided rather than showing you the sort of basic tools in SketchUp, what I'd do is actually jump straight in and start designing stuff straight away, and hopefully you'll pick up how the tools are used as we go along. So I'm going to draw a simple unit. It's not going to be fully detailed. I'm going to start with a rectangle on the floor. Click R and pull out a rectangle. If you look down in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see some numbers. These are the actual dimensions of the rectangle that I'm about to draw in millimeters, and I need to alter these dimensions until they are going to suit us. So I've decided I'm going to draw a standard unit. It's going to be 600 wide and we'll say 590 deep. So 600, 590. Press enter. You'll see the rectangle shrink down to the size that we actually wanted. It's always useful when you're drawing things to draw it exaggerated in some way, and then when you enter the actual dimensions you'll see the actual movement take place, and you'll know that you have actually successfully made the movement that you wanted to make. At the moment this is just a rectangle. It's sort of on the floor. If I swivel the camera, the virtual camera through which we're viewing the model around, you'll be able to see that it's just a two-dimensional shape at the moment. We're going to work in 3 dimensions. The 2 dimensions at the moment, the axes are the green axis and the red axis, and those are sort of like the ones that are on the floor. To go into the 3rd dimension we need to go up in the blue axis, and easily remember because of blue for sky. It's probably why they chose blue. Now to make 3-dimensional objects in SketchUp, the tool that we'll mostly use is the push-pull tool. It's this one here, and we can also get it by pressing a keyboard shortcut, which is P. And I want to make this unit 875 high. Standard height for a kitchen worktop is pretty much 915, sometimes 910. But I need to allow for a 40mm worktop, so 915 minus 40 is 875. Virtually every kitchen unit worth the name has got adjustable feet now anyway, so I'm going to set this one up for 875. I'm not going to attempt to draw the feet in. So I'd punch in 875, press return, and there it is. That's the object. Now the next thing, this is just a collection of lines and surfaces. If I want to make this into a solid object that SketchUp will understand is a solid object and which will allow us to move it around, what I need to do is to make this into a group. So the first thing I need to do is to select all of the entities in this, which is all the surfaces, all the edges, and there's several ways of doing this. One quite easy way of doing this is to click on it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You need to click at a reasonable speed. Well, if you don't get what you want, then just click somewhere else and then the items you've selected will be deselected. Single surface will show its selection as a load of dots on the surface. If I'd clicked twice I would have just got the single surface that I started on plus the lines around the edge. Clicking 3 times will get me the whole thing. All the connected geometry will be selected. Another way of doing that is to draw a box around it. Same thing. When you're drawing boxes in SketchUp, if you draw from left to right, then only the items that are in the box will be selected. If you draw from right to left, all the all the geometry that was within the box, all these surfaces, will be selected even though they weren't contained entirely within the box that you draw. Never mind, we'll get onto that stuff in greater detail later. So for now I'm going to go with the 3-click method, and now I need to make this into a group. Right click, click on Make Group. This is now a group. If I select it, I can use, for instance, I can use this Move tool, which is the one here, also obtained by pressing M on the keyboard, and I can move it around to wherever I might need it to be, and you're going to be using this tool a lot. Now I need to make this look a little bit more like a kitchen unit, and so I'm going to modify it. I'm going to put a plinth on it to start with. Let's first of all, I'm going to open. At the moment I can't modify this group until I open the group for editing. So I'll double click on it, and now it's open to be edited, and I can do whatever jobs I want to on it. Right, the first thing to do is to put a plinth on it. So I'm going to go up, what should we say? Let's say 155. I'm going to use this is the tape measure tool, and it's very useful. If you go from a point, you can measure out a specific distance. If I wanted to know the diagonal across that box, it would tell me. Most of the time you'll be using it for drawing parallel lines, which is you start off with an edge, draw it away from the edge, and wherever you stop, or if you actually enter in a dimension, I'll enter in 560 for the sake of argument, and that's what I'll get. It'll draw me a parallel line 560 millimeters from the first one. I'll get rid of this one by using the erase tool, which I got by pressing E. This is the one I want at the moment, and I want to draw a line across the front of this unit, which I'll do by using the line tool. It's this one here, also obtained by pressing L. Across here, and now I can use the push-pull tool again. I'm going to push in by, what should we say, let's say 40 millimeters, that'll be enough. And now we've got a plinth. Now I do shaker cabinets, so I'm going to draw a recess on the front of this. We're going to pretend that this is a highline unit. That's highline is kitchen designer jargon for a unit which is basically a cupboard and has a door going from the top to the bottom. So I need to draw the recess. I can use the offset tool, which is this one, also F, click on the surface. If I enter, in this case I'm going to enter 75, press enter, then I can use I've just closed the group by clicking off there. I better go over that again. I'm just trying not to go too fast. Get rid of this, get rid of that guideline by pressing Control and D. Right, now I've still got to make the recess in the front to represent the recessed panel in the shaker door. I'm not trying to make this look like a real unit. It's just to give you an idea. When you're actually doing a design, all you want to do is to know roughly what your kitchen is going to look like. Now I can use the push-pull tool to push that recess in, but I can't because I haven't opened the unit. So I'm going to open, by open I mean I'm going to open it for editing. Now I'm going to use the push tool, push it in. That's obviously much too far, but you remember what I was saying earlier about doing exaggerated motions. Entering the actual correct number, in this case is going to be 7, pressing enter, and you see it jumped, and I now know that that is actually on the 7. So there we go. Now we've got our first unit. This is a 600 unit, and we will modify this unit to get the different widths that we will want. And we also need to do a draw line unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this unit, and then I'm going to modify it. So which I can do that. I use the move tool. Now I've selected the move tool by pressing M. If I now press Control, you'll see a little plus next to the move tool. Now this little plus, what it'll do, as I move it, it's going to leave a copy of itself behind. Yeah. Now, a drawline unit is a cupboard with a big opening door and a single drawer at the top. So I need to modify this because obviously this door is now too big. So the other thing with SketchUp, there's always a multitude of ways of doing any particular job. There's always plenty of different ways of doing it. So I think I'm going to get rid of the panel here. So open the unit. I used my eraser tool by pressing E, and now I'm going to draw a guideline in for the drawer. Let's put that at, say, 150 deep. Obviously, if you're using a particular make of units and you want to make it look realistic, you'll want to use whatever measurements the units actually are. And draw a line across here. That's going to represent our door. And drawer front. And now we're going to use the offset tool, enter 75, push it in by 7 millimeters, and now we've got a draw line unit. Press Ctrl and D to get rid of the guideline. And I think the other unit we'll do while we're at it is a pan drawer stack, by which I mean a small drawer at the top and a couple of nice big drawers below. I'm going to use this unit and move it. Now I'm going to press Control. You can press Control before or afterwards, it doesn't matter. So as long as you don't let go in the meantime, it'll leave a copy. So now this time, open it up. Let's get rid of the panel. We'll put a line across, 150 I think I said for the other drawer. Obviously we'll want it to match. And now I want to draw a couple of big drawers below. SketchUp has many useful features, and one of those is it's very good at guessing what you might want to do. As long as you give it a decent hint, it might pick out. Now what I want to do is I want to draw a line that's halfway between this line and that one. If I could run down the edge like this, you'll see the cursor change when I get to the midpoint. That means it's found the midpoint in the line between there and there. Excellent. So we'll go across. We're going to easily make our drawers. Use the F, the offset, 75. Do the same thing here. Now for some reason, you get this sometimes with the offset tool, sometimes it'll just decide for itself what the dimensions are going to be. That's not going to suit us, so I'm going to use press Ctrl and Z, and that will undo the last action. So we'll have another go at that. This working properly this time. Enter 75. Now I want to use the push-pull tool. I'm going to go in 7. Now I'm going to show you another feature of SketchUp now. And I might be using this tool a lot, and if I tell SketchUp what I want it to do, then it'll do it. And one of the ways of doing it is to show it something that it's just done. So if I go like this and then I move up onto here, now if you look at the box down in the bottom right hand corner, it says -7, which is what this face is. So what it's doing is it knows that this face is parallel to the face that we've already done, and we've created a pan drawer stack. So get rid of the guideline by pressing Ctrl and D, and now we've got 3 units, and this will be a very good start.